Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another StoryCraft. I'm Miss Emily. Today, I'm going to be continuing our celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month with a really bright, fun, colorful book called Cukoo. And now this version of Cukoo is written by Lois Ehlert, but Cukoo is actually an adaptation of a Mayan Indian tale from Mexico. So this story is actually an old folk tale from Mexico. So let's go ahead and get started and read Cukoo. And you'll see as we go along that this book is actually written in both English and in Spanish. Now, I can't read or speak Spanish very well, so I'm going to stick to the English, but I hope you guys enjoy this book anyway. So this is called Cukoo. Cukoo was beautiful. Trouble was, she knew it. Cukoo's pretty, called one parrot. Pretty lazy, said the others. Never helps us collect seeds. She's stuck on herself. All day long, Cukoo flew and sang, cuckoo, cuckoo, pretty, sweet, sweet, sweet. Flowers opened to her lovely song. Roosters nearby stopped crowing. Dogs forgot to bark. But even the sweetest song can turn sour. Shoo, Cukoo, we're tired of you, and you're singing too, cooed the doves. Cukoo, stop singing and go to sleep, hooted Owl. He was the bird boss. Early tomorrow, we start our seed collecting. Each year, after the field plants dried, the birds collected beans and corn and pepper, squash, and tomato seeds and dropped them on Mole's Hill. Those seeds would be planted later to grow food for another season. The birds fell asleep, dreaming of seeds. Even Owl was napping. Cukoo soon got bored singing to herself. As she dipped down to her branch, something red flickered through the trees. "What's that?" she muttered. "Some flashy new bird? Better chase it away." But it wasn't a bird. It was a field fire. Mole was out. He had smelled smoke. As Cukoo flew from the woods, Mole shouted, "Can you save the seeds?" Pointing to his tunnel, he said, "You can drop them in here." There was no time to wake the other birds. Red flames were licking higher, higher, coming closer and closer. So Cukoo began. It was a hot and scary job. Her rainbow feathers became scorched from fire, her eyes flame red from smoke. From the fiery fields to the cool woods, Cukoo flew, carrying seeds to Mole's tunnel all night long. At sunrise, Cukoo dropped the last ear of corn down Mole's tunnel. Tired but happy, she started to sing, but cuckoo, cuckoo was all that came out of her smoky throat. The birds woke up to Cukoo's raspy cry. They gasped when they saw the blackened fields. The seeds were gone. No seeds left to plant meant no food for later. Then they saw a scorched bird circling above. "Is that you, Cukoo?" called the doves. The birds waited for Cukoo to land. When she told them that the seeds were safe, they all clapped their wings. And they all agreed in the end, you can't tell much about a bird by looking at its feathers. The end. So all the birds assumed that Cukoo only cared about her looks and her really pretty feathers. But in the end, Cukoo really cared about everybody and did the hard work of saving all of the seeds so that everybody could eat the next season. So what a hero she is. So this book has some really, really amazing artwork in it. And one art in particular I want to point out is this one. Now, a lot of the artwork in here is inspired by a variety of Mexican crafts and folk art, including cut paper fiesta banners, which is what this mimics here. So I thought it would be really fun for our craft today if I taught you guys how to make the cut paper fiesta banners. And if you look behind me right along here, here is my banner. So I'm going to show you a quick close-up. And now I'm going to show you how to make your own banner. Let's get started. Okay, so this is actually going to be a fairly simple project. You're not going to need very much to do this project. All you're going to need is some colored paper. I'm using tissue paper because then my banner will flutter in the breeze. You could use construction paper if you wanted a more durable banner, or if you really wanted to get creative, I bet you could use rectangles of fabric. That would look really beautiful hanging up as well. But I'm going to stick to tissue paper, and I'm going to take my hot pink tissue paper here. I'm going to put the rest aside. The only other things you're going to need besides your paper is some scissors, some tape, and then some kind of twine or string or ribbon. I found this ribbon, and I don't know if you guys can see. I chose this ribbon. It's not, well, maybe showing up a little. This ribbon actually has some sparkles in it. It's a little bit of a glittery ribbon. I don't think that's showing up, but I have a really pretty ribbon that I was using for my banner. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing you're going to do is have your rectangle long ways, and you're going to take from the top and fold just a little bit down. You're just going to make a small flap at the top, and this is where your string or your ribbon is going to go through later on when you go to hang your banner. So you just want to do that. Now you're going to flip your whole piece over so that that fold is in the back. And you're going to fold your rectangle in half. You're going to take the left and fold it all the way over to the right. And you can see my tissue paper here is all kinds of wrinkled and folded, and it doesn't matter for this project. So this is a great way to use up some old tissue paper that you might not be able to use for other things. So now we're going to turn our rectangle. I have the flap here. You guys can see that maybe. Here's the flap. I have that on my left-hand side. That's just the way I like to do it. You probably can do it the other way, but I think if you want to do it exactly like me, I have it on my left side. So now I'm going to take the bottom and fold it up about halfway and give it a fold. And then I'm going to take the top and I'm going to fold down all the way to the bottom. So now I have this long skinny piece. So now here's where my scissors come in. You guys know the deal. Always ask your grown-ups for permission and help with scissors, and always be very careful. So this is going to make this scalloped edge of the bottom, the fancy edge of the fancy bottom edge of the banner. So all you're going to do is just kind of cut off those corners and make a half circle, kind of like that. You can see that. So then you're going to very gently fold it in half, and you don't need to fold it, do a hard fold. If you just kind of hold it in half, you're going to take your scissors and you're going to cut a little half circle right along this folded edge. So I'll show you. You just carefully take your scissors, cut a half circle so that then it looks like that. So now when we open our banner all the way back up, there's the edge that we just did. So I'm going to turn mine back around this way so that my fancy edge is facing me. I'm going to fold it in half again from left to right, and then again I'm going to bring the bottom up to the top. Actually, we didn't do that before, but we're going to bring the bottom up to the top. Okay, so then once we have our bottom to the top, we're going to take this bottom edge and we're going to fold it up so that it meets the left edge. So you're making a triangle with it. So now we have a point and a triangle shape here at the bottom. And then we're going to take this edge and we're going to bring it over to the left edge again. So we're going to fold it again. So now we have this really long, skinny triangle. And now I recommend flipping it over and taking a look to see where this flap is. This is that same flap that the string is going to go through later. So you don't want to cut any higher than where this flap is, because then otherwise you're going to be cutting up into that flap and it may not look as good and it may not hang properly. So for this one, we're only going to cut up to here. So we have all of this space here to work with. So what you can do is you can cut off the tip, and then along the edges, and this is where you can get creative. I'm going to do some like half circle or some teardrop shapes, but I was also experimenting and I did some diamond shapes, and you guys can experiment with some other things that you would like to do as well. But I'm going to do 2 bigger half circles along the bottom here, and then and then a little bit higher up, I'm going to do 2 circles. So I'm going to show you what that's going to look like. So I'm going to do a longer shape here. So you can see I cut that out. And then I'm going to do the same on the other side. So now I have kind of a wonky shape there. So now up above here, I'm going to do 2 half circles. And like I said, remember, don't cut higher than your flap. So I'm just going to cut another circle here, and I'm going to cut another circle here. So there we go. So now I have this really kind of weird shape, but this is going to be really neat because when I start to unfold everything, now I have a really pretty flower pattern in the middle. So now the next thing I want to do is put some patterns on in the 4 corners here. So the next way to do that, I'm going to turn this back around so I can do it the right way. So we're going to fold it in half again from left to right. We're going to fold the bottom up to the top again. And now we're going to take this right edge, my right, and we're going to fold it up until our cut pattern here. So I'll hold this up so you can see here's the cut pattern. We're going to fold this edge in so it just about reaches that cut pattern. So if I do this, there we go. So you can see the flap doesn't quite, or the fold doesn't quite reach where that cut pattern is. Oopsie. There we go. So now we're going to take this top edge up here and we're going to fold it down halfway, making a triangle. So kind of like the beginning of a paper airplane. And then we're going to take, actually do it that way, there we go. I like that fold that way better. So I took that and folded it down, and now I'm going to take this edge and bring it up to meet this edge. So I'm going to make a point. I'm going to make another one of those triangle shapes. And then I'm going to do a very similar thing again. I'm going to cut off that little corner. And it looks like I'm getting a little bit short on space. My cut design comes to right here. So I only have this bit here to work with. So I think I'm going to cut a longer piece on one side and then a longer piece on the other side. And now, so actually, you see I've got another kind of wonky shape there, but again, when I unfold it, now I've got, wow, and I took my pattern right all the way to the edge. That's pretty neat. I always like how it looks different every single time you do it. I basically have done the same pattern every single time I've made this, but each one still looks a little bit different. So now I'm done with my banner. I'm going to flip it over. So here's my flap. I'm going to take my string or my ribbon or whatever you want to use, cut it however long you want it, tuck that up underneath that flap, fold the flap down, make sure that's up in there. And now here's where my tape comes in. I was finding it easy to tape in 3 places. So I was taping once in the middle, And it's probably hard to see, but you can see I taped over the flap with the string up in there, but didn't cover up any of my design. So I did one in the middle, and then I took a little piece of tape on each side. And I'm going to tape there. And if you get a little bit of extra tape, that's okay. You can just fold it over. And I'm going to tape it here. And that way I know that that string is going to stay, and then that my banner is going to hang. So there we are. Here is my banner again hanging up here behind me. And I hope you guys really enjoyed, and you make some really pretty banners yourself. And I hope you experiment with different shapes and making different patterns in your banners. Enjoy. I will see you guys all again next week. Bye-bye.